You know, tell me, be honest, you know, be honest with your team as well. If they want to know what's going wrong, tell them what's going wrong, you know, be honest with them. You get a huge acceleration in coaching skills because it's back to the numbers again. If you've got lots of people to coach, instead of having a jolly good conversation about, you know, what Deirdre did in EastEnders last night, you know, you're on the phone, you get to the point, you're off, you're on to the next call. You know, I can be doing up to 15 coaching calls a night instead of 5 like I was doing before. Funnily enough, it takes me more or less the same amount of time. I get to the flipping point and I'm not waffling about crap anymore, you know, because I used to be a bit of a waffler. I have my moments now, I believe, but I'll move on. You know, the results come. I mean, that's what we're in this business for. We're in the business for results. But don't focus on them. They'll come just by consistently putting yourself out there and doing this kind of activity. So this was our business, 2010. There we are, you know, kind of hovering in the 2000s mark, and a nice little Christmas peak at the end of the year with a bit of sponsoring as well. 2011 dropped back a little bit. That was really here when Robin was facing redundancy, and we thought, got to move this business. So we did 2010-1 throughout the rest of 2011 and got our income and our business turnover. Funnily enough, our income when we were in the 20,000s was in the 2000s. When our turnover was in 30,000, we were in the 3,000s. It's, you know, just the way it seems to have gone for us. Point is, we got after Christmas and we thought, right, 2010-1's good, but it's not quick enough. So we doubled our activity. Now what happens when you double your activity? Did I double my growth? No. That's quadrupling it, really. Because the more you do in this business, the more the return comes, because you get better at coaching. So suddenly you're more effective with every coaching call you make. But it's just the law of that exponential curve, that the more you do and the quicker you do it, the quicker your income is going to rise and your turnover to go with it. So yeah, that was our turnover. Our income check kind of follows the same pattern, but this is obviously in our monthly checks. You know, beginning of 2011, just under £2,000 that month, getting towards £4,000 by the end of 2011, and then just by, you know, this time last year, went back up to over the £4,000 and didn't stop going. And you know, if you want to sort of know, because obviously this goes up to last year, our lowest check so far this year has been 5,900, and our highest check last period this year was 6,750. So, I'm not telling you this to sort of impress you, I'm telling this to impress on you, you know, what you can do and how having lots of numbers into the business can keep your check high. You know, our check has continued at that level, and it'll spike again as we go through the rest of the year, because we're on another plan, and a big one. You know, there's my check from period 12. Now, how did I achieve that? Well, as you saw, breaking it down, period 12 turnover of £78,000, beat that last period by £1,000 at 79.5, but that was the biggest check, obviously with the extra Christmas sales in. Personal retail that month, £2,821. PSG, £35,000, 47 active wide. Now I haven't dropped below 40 active wide this year. I've got 40 people on my front line. You know, how do you coach them all? People say to me, well, you work with the workers, and then when you've got the moment, you go back for those that are, you know, crawling. It doesn't mean you leave them like lying there. If they're asking for help, you're giving them help. But what I'm saying is, everybody sets their own pace, and if they're hungry and they want to learn quickly, you work with those and prioritise those people, the serious people first. In that period, 22 personal activations. I brought in myself 22 people in period 12 last year, which is a record for me, and I think a record in our group as well. But the point is, 2 gold legs with massive PSGs. You know, they have copied what I've done and gone wide, 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 wide. And I'll show you them now. This is Ian and Sally. This is their period 12 turnover, £28,248. They did last period, period 6. No, period 5, we're still in 6, 34,000. Okay, so they're growing, they've beaten their best already. But that particular period, they were active wide by 30. Personal retail of £2,937, check £3,859. Qualifying gold distributor. You know, those are the sort of incomes that you hear silver execs earning, you know, and yes they are. But you can earn that as a gold distributor if you just go very wide and do a decent retail. You know, they've got decent retail there. But this is the interesting point, because in period 4 of last year, they did in that period turnover just shy of 5 grand. They were an 18% business. They had been gold. That's them in New York, getting engaged on the top of the Empire State Building, which was a great moment to see in the team. But they dropped back after Christmas. Fact was, by period 6-7 last year, they saw what I was starting to achieve and thought, right, we want some of this, and we're going to do it because you can do it, Stuart. They've gone through massive development as coaches and leaders. The reason why they dropped back at the end of 2011 after New York, was that they were still not polished on coaching skills. They weren't retaining people because they really weren't that good at coaching, and they don't mind me telling you that because they're bloody good now. Because they've gone through the numbers to get to where they are now, to get that kind of PSG, they've learned, they really have. And that's why I say nothing beats practice to gain experience. This couple have got a massive future ahead of them, which is really exciting. Really exciting. And then you've got Joe and Julie, who are my other gold leg. Now, bearing in mind that this couple work full-time. She's an acting head teacher. He's a logistics manager. They work 60 hours a week each. Okay, they've got 2 children who are a little older than that now, but the point is, if you think you haven't got the time, you have. You've got to find the time and work a plan, and that's the point. They've been in the business. Look, these guys, both these guys, Joe and Juliani, and so they've been in the business about 4 years each. So they've been around for a while, and they both joined for £50 to £100 a week. Not to do this. Anyway, their turnover in that period was 15,500, active wide 22. Personal retail. Now this is an extra income because they've both got salaries. They are what you call asset rich and cash poor. They've invested lots of money into a big house and a Spanish villa and other bits and pieces, business wise, but they're yet to see a return from it. So they didn't. The reason why they joined cleaning is because they didn't have any disposable income, and they wanted some money just to have a takeaway at the weekends. Now they've got a £2,000 a month, £2,364 a month personal income coming in as a cheque. But interestingly, again, in period 4, they were 18%. That was their highest pin level previously. They were a 10% business that month. Okay, they went away for a week and didn't do all their retail, but nevertheless, that's where they were. So if you're at 10% right now, look at where they got to, by the end of last year, in 11 periods. Now, okay, they've been in the business a while. They already had some coaching skills under their belt, so they weren't new and coming in from 10% to that level as a brand new distributor. However, it can still be done. It can still be done. Big future ahead of those 2 guys. That was the view off our balcony in Dubai last year. Now, for those that were at the September conference of last year, we won the New Business Award that they placed over the summertime for the highest new business sales. Get a trip to Dubai, and off we went to test it all out for you guys. And I'm telling you what, Ram, they do chips for breakfast. And the reason why I say that is that my first I met these guys, Ram and Sylvia, and I'm sure you all know them, and they've been good friends of mine since. Met them in 2007 on my first conference to Cannes. It was a great conference, though it rained the whole time. It was hotter in England, but hey, south of France. And Ram turns around, I'll never forget Ram, this was my first meeting with Ram, and he said, "What is wrong with this bloody country and this flipping French food?" And I said, "Well, maybe you're in France, Ram." And he said, "Yeah, but they invented French fries. Where are they?" Because he loves his chips. So when we went to Dubai, I couldn't believe that you could ask in the restaurant down there. You could ask for whatever you wanted for breakfast. They'd make you a pizza if you wanted for breakfast. That is the kind of treatment that they give you in this particular hotel. They're there. They're attentive for you. They don't let you want for anything. That's the kind of service that you get out in Dubai, especially in a 5-star hotel. And it's like that on every Clean Easy trip, the treatment that they give you. Dubai will be better. I mean, Miami was good last year, New York was great the year before, but they don't have that kind of level of red carpet service. I can liken it to the sort of treatment we got in Thailand, actually, which was great, 4 or 5 years ago. So that was our room when we woke up and drew the curtains in the morning, which was just unbelievable, just amazing. So qualify for these trips, guys. They're worth £5,000 to £10,000 just for a couple to go on this trip. Trips are a lifetime. So we've now got 6 in the team in qualification, with another couple of distributorships who are borderline but could make it as well, which would be great. As I say, rising stars in all 3 PSGs that could be joining us, and it will be a destination to beat all others. You've got the opportunity of swimming with dolphins. We're going to the water park where, I mean, it's just the biggest water park I've ever seen in my entire life. You couldn't get me out of the place. It was, you know, they shut the doors, they were trying to kick me out. But the fact was, you know, we swam with dolphins, and that's been a goal of mine and Robin's for a long time. You know, it was worth doing. It's an optional extra, but it's an extra that's worth doing, it really is. And if you're still in qualification for it, you know, guys, why don't you aim at the Maldives? Because if you do, you're guaranteed to buy. It's kind of like if you aim at the moon, you might just land in the stars somewhere. You might have heard that saying before. So, moving on, stop the waffling. Top tips, dream SED, but work your PSG. You know, I've coined that little rhyme really, because the only way you're going to get 5 legs to be SED is by having frontline leaders. But don't look for your frontline leaders. Don't look for your next gold leg. They'll find themselves. They'll find you. They will find you, because they'll come in as a 10% retailer, you'll put them on your PSG, you'll teach them what to do, you'll move on to the next person that you've recruited, you'll keep in contact with them, and then one day they'll surprise you and say, do you know what, I want something bigger than just £200, £400, £500 a month. And they'll find you. But you've got to go through the numbers to get them. Double the gold card. You know, in our team we have this gold card. It's a list of all the activity that you need to be doing to achieve gold in 90 days. You know, how many shop ads, newspaper ads, flyers, etc. You know, I'm sure you've got something similar. Just look at it and double it. Why not? It's only, you've got one life. Just give it your best shot. Go at it. Find the time. You know, steal it. Make it a priority. You know, when people say we don't have the time, what they're actually saying is, my priority is elsewhere. Clean Easy is not the top of my list. Well, that's fair enough, because you know we join this business to earn an extra income, and that's fine if that's where you want to be. But if you're saying to your sponsor or to other people that you are serious about building something big here, don't make excuses. You know, find the time. You know, I think last year was it period. I recruited 9 in period 4 last year, and my son was in hospital for 2 weeks. You know, I know it sounds... I was at hospital every day with him, but my wife said to me, look Stuart, just get home and just do those appointments and then come back. You know, because we had a plan. And it was a priority. My son is my #1 priority, but that's why I do this business, to give him the fact that I can be a stay-at-home dad, you know, and that's where I am, more or less, so, you know. Understand that the best way to get good is do it, and do it big. You know, the more you do, it's like saying, well, are you going to learn how to drive quicker if you have a driving lesson every day, or if you have a driving lesson once a month? It's obvious, isn't it? You're going to be good quicker if you do it every day, because you can get more experience in a shorter period of time. So do it big, you know, if you want to go quick. But most importantly, even if you can't do it big, you might have a job, you might have some really heavy commitments that you just cannot unprioritise. Whatever you do, just keep consistent at it. You know, chronic inconsistency, and I've seen it with some big leaders in this business as well, who have gone big in this business, but you know what, they're doing this all the time, up and down, because they haven't built it, they haven't given it long enough consistency to get it strong enough. So just as it looks like they're getting good, they take the foot off the pedal and it drops back a bit, because it's not cemented, the foundations are not laid. Consistency is the key to everything. I was consistent with my retail at 8 to 10 hours a week when I started, every week. That was a consistency that was good enough for me to build a customer base. And it will be the same for you new people as well. And the same with regards to the big activity I've done here. Skills and development and income will follow on. So don't say, oh, I haven't got the skills to sponsor. You know, you'll get the skills if you try, if you go out and learn. Practice is the best thing to do. You know, don't say I'll be good when I've learned what to do. Learn along the way. That's the best way. You don't say, oh, well, I'm going to, read and learn how to drive. Part and parcel of it is you get in the car and flipping drive, because you know that is really the only way to get good at it. So get in the driving seat. So, I mean, I know this was written a few months ago in the early part of the year, but I think it's still as relevant now as it was then. You know, our double activity didn't start until period 6 last year, okay? And that is what really determined the second half of our year to be, as an entire year, our Olympic year. So you can get your foot on now and make 2013 your Olympic year. You know, as I said, have big goals. One tip I've got for you guys, and it's one thing that we did. In 2011, we decided to put up a mock check. And what do I mean by a mock check? Take your Clean Easy certificate of income, and fraudulently doctor the words on it. But put a date in the future of the end of a period sometime a year or two down the line. And we put one up for just over £5,000, dated for period 12 this year, 2013. And you know, that was on our front door as we walked out the front door, it was on the back of the toilet door, it was in my office, it was on the bloody fridge, it was on Robin's, you know, makeup mirror, it was everywhere, okay, everywhere. And it was there, and you know what? Because it was there, it kept something in the brain focused. Your subconscious sees it, and it kind of gets you in action. It stops you sitting on the couch, I think. We did it 15 months early. We achieved that £5,000 check. You know, immediately, Gina Mike, my sponsor, said, look, pull that £5,000 check down, because if you leave that £5,000 check off, all that will happen is you'll keep hitting that £5,000 check. And if you want to earn more money, get another one up there quickly. So we did. And we thought, well, hey, we're rising at this speed in period 10. Why don't we just throw caution to the wind and put a £6,000 check up for period 12 2 months later? And we actually did that the following period. And the period after that, we even hit £7,000, which was just, you know, it blew me away. You see, visual goals, and this is why your sponsors will always say have a goal board, because visual goals will get your mind to get your backside off the chair. Your brain, as you're wandering around your house, will see these things. You might not even acknowledge it, but at the back of your mind's going, ooh, you know, the Seychelles, that picture of the Seychelles. Don't sit down, go and work for it. It is very much like that. Your brain does filter stuff into your mind without you actually having to consciously think of it. It really does. I believe in that. Most importantly, work ethic. You know, work like you've never, ever worked before. It's not forever. It's just for a while. A year or two. Maybe 3. Depends on how far you want to take this baby. But the point is that you've got to work hard. Really hard. Believe in the numbers. You know, when your sponsor says, if you do this amount of phone calls or this amount of face-to-face presentations or you put this number of catalogues through, that you, on average, will get these results, you will. Not the same results every day. Sometimes you can put out 200 catalogues and come back with £5. Other days you can come back with £300. The point is, over the course of the numbers, they will average out. So trust and believe in the numbers. You see, the rest of 2013, guys, can be your Olympic year. But it's up to you. You decide, guys. It's in your hands. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.